Good morning, students. I hope you all are very fine at your home. So, today we are talking about the IEEE 802.11 MAC layer and MAC management. So, as we know that MAC layer is the medium access control layer, and MAC management defines how MAC will manage in all the physical channel. So in this topic, we defined how IEEE 802.11 means wireless LAN defines the MAC layer and MAC management. Because as we know that IEEE 802.11 is a wireless LAN. Okay, so in this topic, it defines the communication or the operation or the functions performed by the MAC layer wirelessly. So starting with the MAC layer, that is called medium access control layer. So as we know that MAC layer performs the so many tasks. So first it has to control the medium access, means the medium access by which the data is transferred. So main task of the medium access control layer is to control the medium, or uh, it also offers for supports roaming, authentication, and power conservation. So the basic services provided by the MAC layer are the mandatory asynchronous data service, as we know that, and an optional time bounded service. Okay, so as we know that IEEE 802.11 only offers the asynchronous service in ad hoc network mode. Now, medium access control layer in IEEE 802.11 has three basic access mechanisms. First one is uh, the mandatory basic method based on the version of CSMA-CA, because CSMA-CA is very important for wireless communication because it is the access mechanism which we used in all the wireless communication. Now, second one, uh, an optional method is also defined to avoid the hidden terminal problem. And third one is the contention free pooling method for time bound services. Okay. Now, as you can see in the slide, all thing is defined. That the three basic service mechanism which are defined for IEEE 802.11, and all the things are defined here. Now, after that, the first two methods which are defined here as distributed coordination function, the first two method, and the third method is called the point coordination function, and the third method is only defined for uh, both asynchronous and time bound services, but it needs a point to control medium access to avoid the contention. So here we define the point to control access so that we can avoid the contention. Now, the MAC mechanism are also called as distributed foundation wireless medium access control, that is DFWMAC. Okay. Now, as you can see, for all the access methods which are used in IEEE 802.11, several parameters are used for controlling the waiting time before medium access are imported. Now, uh, these times can be defined in the by a figure, which is in the section, which is in the next slide, and the parameters which are used is also defined. But there are some priorities are also defined in the medium axis. The values of the parameter depends on the physical and are defined in the relation with the slot time. So slot time is used for the two functions, that is FHHS and DSSS. As we know that we just defined the physical layer, of IEEE 802.11 in the previous video, and it defined that there are two types of spread spectrums are used. First one is the FHSS and second one is the DSSS. So for slot time for FHSS in MAC layer is 50 microseconds, and for DSSS it is 20 microseconds. Now, here you can see the diagram in which medium axis and interframe spacing are defined. So, in this diagram, you can see the direct axis medium is free if it is greater than the DIFS. So, what is DIFS, PIFS, and FISS? So, first term is the DIFS, which is defined. Before that, we have to define the SIFS, that is short interframe spacing. So the short interframe spacing defines the shortest waiting time for medium axis, and it also defined as the short control message. Okay. So for DSSS it is 10 microseconds, and for FHSS it is 28 microseconds. That is the short interframing spacing. After that, PIFS, that is PCF spacing. So it defines the waiting time between the DIFS and FISS and is used for a time bounded service. So basically PIFS is used for the time bounded service, and it defines the waiting time between the DIFS and SIFS. So the BIFS is defined as SIFS plus one slot time. Why it is so? Because in this, as I told you, that it defines the waiting time between them. So one slot is defined for the differentiation of uh, DIFS and PIFS. Okay. After that, third one is the DIFS, that is uh, DCF interframe spacing. So DIFS denotes the longest waiting time and has the lowest priority for medium access. So this waiting time is used for the asynchronous data service with the contention period. So it is defined in basically two slot times, and or DIFS is defined as SIFS plus two slot times. Okay. Now, as you can here see the MAC frames which are used for the transmission or control mechanism. So here the MAC frames are used, and all the entities or all the fields which are used in MAC frames are defined here. So as you can see, first is the frame control, then duration ID, then address, then address 2, address 3, sequence control, address 4, data, and CRC. So we have to define the frame control here. These are all we defined. Duration ID is the duration of a particular ID which is used. Address one is the three addresses are used, as I told you earlier. First address is defined for the source IP. Second address is defined for the destination ID, and third address is defined for the intermediate ID, which is defined or which is works as an intermediate between the wireless communication and the wired communication. After that, sequence control defines the sequence number of a particular data packet, then address, after that data, and after that CRC, that is cyclic redundancy check or checksum, which is used to find out the error in the IP header and the data. Now, here we have to define the uh, frame control. So as you know, as you can see, there are so many fields in the frame control which are defined here. So in frame control, uh, first is the protocol version. So protocol version is a 2-bit field that indicates the uh, current protocol version and is fixed to 0 by now. Means this 2-bit fields defines the which current MAC layer protocol is used here. After that, type field. So type field determines the function of a frame management. Function of a particular frame, which type of by this frame, which type of management we are used, which type of function we are used. Means if it is 00, then it is management. If it is 01, then it is control. For data, it is 10, and the 11 value is reserved for the future purpose. So in each type has several subtypes as indicated in the following field. After that, subtypes. So subtype means what is the means type in the particular field. Means it is a request, it is a response, or for which purpose we are using it. So in MAC management, the frames which are 0000 are associated with the association request. For 1000, it is for backend purpose, and for 1011, it is used as a RTS control frame. For 1100, it is as a CTS is coded. So all these terms are defined and subtypes mechanism are defined by using a coding function in which from 0000 to 1100 we are defined here. Okay. So now the particular user data is transmitted as a data frame with its subtypes, but then which defines why we are transferring this data for which purpose. Okay, so all the details of these subtypes you can find out in IEEE chapter after that. Next is to DS and from DS. Okay, so to DS means data segment, from DS to DS. So the particular data is sent to or particular is from. So here it is defined here, then which for which we are purposes we are using here. After that, more segments. So the more segment is a or more fragment, sorry, more fragments is a 1-bit field which is set to 1 if all the data management frames have another fragment in the current MSDU to follow. Clear? So if there are have if the particular data have or more data fragments are there, then this field is set to 1. After that, retry. So retry field is a 1-bit field which is set to 1 if the current frame is retransmission of an earlier frame. Means a particular frame is retransmitted for the previous frame, then retry value is 1. After that, power management. So this field indicates the mode of the station after successful transmission of the frame. Okay. So this field is set to 1 in if the station goes into the power save mode. If it is set to 0, then it defines that the station is active. So particular this field defines the whether the particular station is active or not. Clear? For the value 1, it is not active, and for the value 0, it is active. After that, more data. Uh, more data field is used to indicate the receiver that the sender has more data to send. And in a current frame, there is can be more data. So this is used by the access point to indicate the station in the power save mode that more data packets are to be buffered. Or we can say that it is used by station to indicate to an access point after being polled that more polling is necessary as the station has more data to ready to transmit. So the more for a all we defined here more data that when the particular station has more data to send, then this field is set to 1. After that, WEP, that is wired equivalent privacy. So this field is used for the privacy method. So this field indicates that the standard security mechanism of 802.11 is applied. If this field is set to 1, then the particular security mechanism are applied in the datagram. Now, as we know that there are too many weaknesses in the WEP algorithm, so we have to define the higher layer security for an 802.11 network. So for this, we are using the wireless wired equivalent privacy here. After that order, then if this field is set to 1, the received frame must be processed in strict order. Means the frames which are received by the receiver is to be in the order. Okay. So and the receiver must process all the frames in the order delivery. Now, so these all are the functions of the MAC frame which are used in IEEE 802.11. Now, come to the MAC management. That is much more important how MAC will manage. So, as we know that MAC plays an important or central role in IEEE 802.11 station, as it is more or less controls all functions related to the system integration. That is integration of a wireless network into the BSS, यानी कि base station subsystem, and formation of ESS, extended system substation, and synchronization of all the stations which are used. Now, so we just define the all the functional group which are discussed here, which are defined here, and we define the MAC management uh, very with all the parameters and all the fields which are used here. So let's define it. So what are the fields which are defined in the MAC management? That one is the synchronization. So synchronization functions to support finding a wireless LAN and synchronization of internal clock and generation of beacon signals. So what is that? So by this synchronization field, we just find the wireless LAN in a particular area and synchronize the clock for the transmission so that the receiver and transmitter both synchronize the particular clock of all of them. So this is all about synchronization. After that, power management. So power management functions to control transmitter activity for power conservation. Means when the particular transmitter will be active, when it will be sleep, and it all the functions should perform without missing a frame. Means a single frame will not be missed during the transmission, and power management defines the power conservation of a particular transmitter. After that, roaming. So roaming functions define the joining of a network, changes of access point, and scanning for access point. When we are moving from one station to the another station, or connectivity is changed from one station to the another station, then the functions of roaming are works here. After that, the MIB, that is very much important, that is management information base. So in MIB, it represents all the parameters of a particular node which is in the current state of wireless station. So by MIB, we just store mm, uh, within the MIB for internal and external access. So an MIB can be accessed via standards protocol such as SNMP, or that is Simple Network Management Protocol, and this protocol is used for the uh, MIB purpose, management function based purpose. Now, after that, there are so many things are there which have to define in deeply here. Now, first one is the as I told you, first one is the synchronization. So, in synchronization, we have to maintain or synchronize the particular internal clock of the transmitter and the receiver. Now, uh, so in this technique, we just define the timing synchronization function, or TFS. So in timing synchronization function, uh, there is a medium, there is an access point, and there is a beacon interval. So what is the beacon interval? So beacon interval is defined that when there is a beacon frame is defined, which defines the particular when the medium is busy, when the medium is free, and when we can send the data in the transmission medium. So as we know that within the infrastructure based network, the access point performs synchronization by transmitting the periodic beacon signal. Whereas in the wireless node, we just adjust the local timer and define the timestamps. So the access point is not always able to send its beacon B periodically for the medium if the medium is busy. However, the access points always tries to schedule transmissions according to the expected beacon interval which is defined. So in this way, we are just defining the timing signal with the uh, of the transmitter and the receiver. Now, the basic comes to the power management. The basic idea for IEEE 802.1 power management is to switch off the transmitter when it is not needed. Means uh, when we are not using the transmission and we are not in the mode of transmission, then the transmitter power will be switch off. For uh, for the sending device, it is simple to achieve the transfer is triggered by the device itself. So when the transmission is come, or when the particular data is come for the transmission to come to the transmitter, then power is on and it's just define the transmit the data packet or fragment. But when there is no transmission, then it maybe go on the sleep mode, and we just we just uh, conserve the power of the transmitter. Now, since the power management of receiver cannot know in advance when the transmitter has to be active for a specific packet, so he has to wake up for the transmitter periodically. Clear? Now, the basic idea for the power saving includes two states for the station. First one is the sleep state, which I defined before, and second one is the awake state. So in sleep state, power conservation is there, and awake state, when the packet is received by the transmitter, then it is in the awake mode, then he can transmit the data packet. After that, third one, that is the roaming. As I told you, when a particular mobile station is change the connection from one terminal to the another terminal, that is defined in the roaming. So there are so many access points are changed. If there are or we can say, for why roaming is there, because of the two or three purposes. First one, if the connectivity of access point is too poor, then the station has a scanning from the another access point, and it's roaming and roam from and connect to the another signal, another transmitter. After that, if the particular station changes the area from of one terminal to the another terminal, then the roaming is defined. And if a particular access point will not answer in a particular response, then the roaming is defined. After that, management, as you do. So management information base defined for all the management purpose and all the databases which are stored. So these all are the functions performed by the MAC layer and MAC management of IEEE 802.11. So this is a website which is you can use for the references, wirelesscommunication.nl. So thank you very much.